Trick or treat! Isn't he just adorable? I mean, look at him. So cute. Hello there, my beautiful book lovers. My name is Kimia, and welcome to my book talk. Today we have another fall reading sort of a video, but this one is different because Halloween is here, and I thought to myself that maybe, probably, perhaps, there are some people out there that, similar to me, do not really like the aspect of scariness of Halloween and are more into the spookiness of it, if it makes sense. That we like to read and watch movies that are spooky, but they're not scary in a sense that we can sleep at night, and so today's we're going to look at some of those books that still get you into the vibe of Halloween and still have all of those magic, monsters, witches, whatever type of stories, and you're going to enjoy them, but again, at night, you're not going to have nightmares. But before we start, I should say that all of these books, their author, pretty much, have that vibe of spookiness. So any books that it's by them, it's a really good match for this season. But I specifically pick these books simply because I felt that they're sort of either my favorite or match the season a little bit more. So anyway, let's get into them. First, we are going to start with a classic, and that is Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, which this book, it's actually the prequel to the Practical Magic. And if you have watched that movie, it's a very classic one. I enjoyed it very much, so it's one of my favorite Halloween sort of a watch. And this book, it's about Maria. And so she is sort of like the ancestor, not the first woman in the Owen families that it's a witch, but she's older, and she's living, I think it's 16th century, if I'm not wrong. And so we're following her. The story is really about her. We're following her journey through figuring out that she's a witch and how she's going to deal with that, especially because during that time, there was all of these fears of witchcraft and, burning women because of that and all of it. So she's really trying to find this struggle and this balance of realizing that this power that she has is not really a curse, but it's a blessing, but it's also is a curse, there's that balance that you have to find. This book, honestly, because I actually read this book and also I read The Practical Magic, and I think there's another book if I'm not wrong. But I liked this book more than Practical Magic, and I believe there's another book if I'm not wrong. I have not read that one. I have only read Magic Lessons and also The Practical Magic, and I like this book more than the Practical Magic book, but I like the movie the best. That one is really all the vibes. And simply because of the fact that Maria's story, it's a little bit more complex, because for Practical Magic, we're really focusing on Sally and Jillian, and it's their story, their journey, and everything about them. And while this is story, it's only about Maria. But the thing is Maria's story, because of the time frame that she's in, it's a little bit more, it's harsher, but also more heartwarming in a sense by the time that she realizes and find that balance and everything that she's looking for. And so because of that, I highly recommend this book. It has everything that you can look for. Honestly, it has the magic essence of it. It has love. It has grief. It has as the sense of family and also the connection between all of these women in this family. And so it's just a lovely book. And Alice Hoffman writing, honestly, it's one of those that you either get it or you don't. It's she's very poetic in her writing and expressing the feelings, the scenes, everything that's going on. And so I think it's just a lovely book to give it a try for this season. And so if you like these vibes of witch and witchcraft, but in a a spooky sense, this is a perfect read for that. Then we are going to move to mystery, because who doesn't like a good mystery? And when it's Halloween, it is a very nice sort of a time of a year to read such a book. And for that one, obviously it's so obvious that I have to go with Agatha Christie. And the book that I have picked is And Then There Were None, because this book, it's like peak spooky. It's just so perfect. It's just such a great book that if you have never read it, oh my God, what are you doing? Run, go to a bookstore, a library, I don't know, audiobook, get it, I don't care. You have to read this book. It's just so perfect. So this book, it's about 10 people, and they are invited to this island in the middle of nowhere, and the invitation for each of these people, it's different. Like, they're all coming with like a different sense of like why they're going to this place, you know, like they're invited to different things, but then they all end up here on this island in this house, and then the host, it's sort of missing. And then it, like, by the time that, like, you know, the day is going on, and like the night falls and everything comes, and like you have to understand, like, the setting, it's an island in the middle of nowhere, you know, and it adds a lot to that, the spookiness. And then, as it's like any of the other rest of books of Agatha Christie, people start to die. And then, so that's the mystery. And then, like, you know, like one by one, we're trying to figure out who's the killer and why is this happening. And then, like, the stories from their past is coming up. And it's just like, it's a fantastic book. And like the ending, as like most of her books, is just so fantastic. And you do not see it coming while you were like having some guess, but it's still at the end, you're just shocked. So it's, again, I think this one specifically for the season of Halloween, it's perfect because it has that essence of the island and what it adds to it. So if you're looking for a book with that vibe, this is just a must read, honestly. And then moving to the next book, I was like thinking of, like, you know, who is the person that I think of when I think of like spooky books? And again, like all of these books are, but this one, when I was thinking of, if there's one author, it's Sylvia Moreno-Garcia. She's one of my favorite. I have talked about her so many times in my channel. And the book that I picked, again, all of her books will match, but the book that I have picked for this one, it's the daughter of Dr. Moreno. And this book, so we are following Carlota. I think her name was Carlota. Clarita? It is started with a C, but I cannot remember it now. So we have this daughter, and we're following her. So she also is living in the middle of sort of a nowhere. It's on an island, but it's like very away from the nearest town or a city or a village. And so she is living with her father and her father experiments, which are the hybrids. So her father, the doctor, he is doing these sort of experiments of creating hybrids between humans and animals, and there's all of these different characters that are living with them, and because of like different reasons and everything, she is sort of not fully forced to stay here. And she's like very unhappy about that. Obviously, she really wants to go out, have an adventure, learn more about life. And everything changes by the time that Eduardo comes. And he is a young man. His father, it's sort of the person that it's giving the money and financing all the experiments that the doctor is doing. And so like he's coming to sort of like take a look, see what is it, to just pass by and everything. And then everything starts. And the reason that I picked this book for this list, it's because these characters, again, because of their hybrid, it has that elements of spooky, because like you don't really know why and what's going on and what is happening and all of these, like, what is the story behind it, and also the reason like they cannot leave really. And so again, with Sylvia, she really has the gift, honestly, to create a story, because it has the elements of, usually it has some elements of Latin America, and this one I believe it's in Mexico if I'm not wrong, or has elements from Mexico. And so she just painted this beautiful picture of this scenery, of this place, of this house that you're living well, you are sort of living with everybody there, and you're experiencing everything that's going through it, and you see that how like you have to sort of pick between the loyalty that comes with belonging to family members, to belonging to your community, to belonging to people that like you grow up with, and also when it comes to love and it comes to like yourself and what you want. And so it's just such a lovely read, and it's a very fast read. It's a very easy read. It's a book that like I read it pretty quick, simply because like, you know, I really just wanted to see. It was like a quick adventure for me, and I feel like this is a nice book for it, because like honestly I was like, if I suggest Mexican Gothic one more time, it's just gonna be like, no, I need to stop. That's another great read, honestly, but because I wanted to go with a different book of hers, I thought this book will be a good match for it. So if you have read any of her works and you liked it, I'm pretty sure you will like this one. If you had not read any of her books, will be a good one to start with. I still suggest Mexican Gothic because that one is just like peak, but this one is also very good. So anyway, if you like it, give it a try. Then, let me have some tea. I'm talking too fast, I think. Then the next author that I was like, okay, when it comes to like any sort of sense of spooky, darkness, Halloween, who would come to mind, and that is absolutely, obviously, Edgar Allan Poe, and his collection. Honestly, just read them. It's any of them. Just pick whichever that you like and it will fit. But for this list, again, I have picked The Raven. That one, I like it, even though, so that one, it's not spooky per se, but it's dark, you know, because it's about a person who has lost a beloved and he's just giving up on life. He is so just sad and has such a huge grief on his heart that like it's killing him. And you know, like I hope that like you never experience such a feeling, but death, it's part of life, and we all eventually, probably, hopefully very late in life, will experience such a thing. And it is hard to deal with that grief, and not everyone can deal with it in a healthy way, and sometimes it gets very dark. So anyway, this book, it's about this man dealing with his grief, and that grief sort of taking him to madness, and reaching to the level that is just like, you know, too much. And so I felt that like this is I cannot say like a nice book to read, because it's like nice, not in a sense of like nice as like fun or like, you know, that good vibes, but it's nice in a sense of like it can be enjoyable in a sense of, first of all, again, Edgar Allan Poe, he has such a way with words, and like his poems are always so beautiful and haunting. Perfect word for it, it's haunting. And so it's really just stays with you, and I feel like it will be a nice sort of change in a spookiness in a different direction. And so again, any of his books, a good match. But if you have not read, Raven is one of my favorites, and I feel it will be, you know, a good way to start reading Edgar Allan Poe's work. So anyway, it's my pick for this list. And then the last book to finish this very quick list, it's Something Wicked This Way Come by Ray Bradbury. I was like, for a second, completely like, was like, what was the name? And I feel this is such a lovely way to end this list, because I mean, this book, like even the title itself, like wicked and wickedness, that it's such a like a spookiness to it. So this book, anyway, it's about two boys. We have Will and James. Jim. It's Jim. Yeah, it is Jim. And these two boys, they're teenagers, and they're living, you know, teenage lives. And then one day, out of the blue, there's this carnival that has showed up in their town, and it's carnival, so everybody would like to go and see and experience it, have fun. And then they go, and then they soon realize that this carnival, it's not a regular normal one, and some stuff wicked it's happening behind the scene, and things are just not what they seem. And so that's our story. This book, it's a fun read. It's because the reason that I said it's a good way to end this list, it's because this is a book that it's not too heavy, that it's still interesting, and it's a book that has all of those elements that, it has those dark sense of magic in a sense, and it has a carnival, that they always have some sense of spookiness to them, as fun as they can be, sometimes there's always something that it's just it can go wrong. I don't know why, at least I feel that way. So anyway, but it's very fun, and it's a easy read, quick read. And if you are in a mood for a little bit of adventure, but in a sense of, again, vibes of Halloween, it's a great book for it. And I think that was it. Once again, any books by these authors would be fun, a good match for this season. I hope that you enjoy this list and you're going to have a nice spooky Halloween. You're going to get yourself some very cute mugs because I'm obsessed with this. Anyway, and have some good candies, watch some good movies, and just enjoy that fall is almost ending-ish. And we are getting to the fun end of the year, Christmas vibes and all of that. I mean, I'm running towards it. Let's be real. We still have a month or so, but I'm very excited for the end of the year. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list, and until the next one, happy reading.